Friday night, I want a chippy tea. Chippy tea, chippy tea. I want a chippy tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a chippy tea.
Hold on tight, you suicide riders. The louder you scream, the faster we go. Welcome to episode 81 of the Chippy Tea Podcast. What is the Chippy Tea Podcast? Your chance to catch up with a video call that happens regularly between me, Tony P of Palm Print, and
Danny D, Flipping Sweet Print Co.
There we go. So, this is a chance to catch up with me and Danny as we talk about what we've been doing over the last time that we chatted. I think it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it, Danny? So, I don't know what you've been doing. I'm still over in America, playing about with stuff. What have you been playing with? I've seen you've been a bit busy on social media so far. I've seen a lot of shit coming out of your way.
Yeah, a lot of shit coming out of my shop, to be honest. Do you know what? I've been bombarded with 6 colours, and it's really making me think because it's really holding me back. I'm getting full colour prints constantly through my inboxes, and I'm really not set up for that. I'm really not. And don't you dare say I told you.
So what's the solution?
Do you know, I'm having a real consideration of upping my minimums on multicolours. So having a baseline minimum for 1 to 2 colours, which is 3 revolutions of my press, 24 pieces. And then every colour after that. So if it's 3 colours, 30, 4 colours, 40, 5 colours, 50, 6 colours, 60. I don't know if that overcomplicates it, whether it's better to just say 1 to 2 colours, 24, anything above that, 50. I've gone back and forth on the idea. But I'm going to trial it. Because at the minute, people can ask me for 20 t-shirts at 6 colours, and they are. And they're paying for it as well. Which is nice. But it's taking up so much time away from all the other jobs. Like I could do 4 or 5, 1 to 3 colour jobs, 4 or 5 of those in the same time, but I could probably do a 6 colour front and back. So and the money just doesn't add up.
But this is the bane of our industry, though. You know what you described there. Times it by 12. 12 presses, and I'm having that same issue. So I'm at a shop now with 12 presses. They've got the capability of doing up to 14 colours, but only on one press. The rest of the presses are between 10 and 12. And they're doing 13 pieces, 6 colour.
13, 6, there's a minimum?
No, they don't have a minimum. So
wow.
The job that's just come through is a 6 colour job, 13 pieces. Onto something like crappy tri-blend polyester, and everything's water-based. It's a 100% water-based shop.
Oh, well, at least you ain't got time to dry in.
I'm sat with the guys. Oh, it does.
Does it?
I'm sat with the guys at the top of the chain, and they want me to make it work and make it more efficient. So that we need to be more efficient because we've got lots and lots of jobs below 20 pieces with upwards of 6 colours. And I found myself sitting there going, no, you've got to really understand that blue and grey thing behind you was invented in the 60s and 70s to do consistent reproduction.
Yeah.
It was made to reproduce multiple times the same image in the thousands.
Yeah.
It took time to get to that first print. It took 3 to 4 hours to get to that first print. We dropped a penny.
I'm looking to see if my microphone's on properly. Carry on, sorry, I know it's distracting.
So the whole system from making a stencil, so drawing the artwork, making a stencil, mixing the colour, putting it in the press, lining it up, that's the least of it, putting it in the press and lining it up.
Oh, aye.
After that, before that, you probably invested 4 hours in this job.
Yeah.
4 hours of which you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So the only way to make that work is to divide that 4 hours over 3,000 or 4,000 pieces. I've said before, when I started, it's only only in 87, 88. We wouldn't set a press up for less than 3,000. You'd get laughed at for asking for it.
Yeah.
If you went to a shop and say, I only want 1,000, we're not going through all that. Not going through all that crap for 1,000 pieces. We can't make any money.
Change.
Yeah. And now look at us. Now we're trying to print for the same amount of money. We're not charging anymore, and we're trying to set the whole thing up for less than 20 pieces.
It's all right. You can chuck a 6 colour on, and all right, 20 pieces takes half hour, maybe an hour if you're multi-printing. If you're doing it wet on wet, like I do, half hour. But
You must have had some training, Donny.
No, let it off fire out. Just bed it up as I go along.
You've been on YouTube.
Yeah, I've been watching YouTubers. I could have took a dig then, but I didn't. I'm afraid.
I know I did. I was going to as well. I
don't see much of it nowadays, so I won't make it. But it's a preparation time. It's hours. There's a lot of screens there. I mean, if it's a 6 colour job, I mean, I mean, there are some shops that do way more than 6 colour, but for me, 6 is my limit, and I'm hitting that limit often. And it's not only just a one, not a front print. It might be a front and back, all colours on planet. 12 screens. That's a lot of Annie's time. And I've had a on my whiteboard full of my jobs, a 6 colour column, one after other, and then all the 3 colours, 2 colours, single colours, just sat there, like almost getting abandoned and left. And really, that single colour column I could knock out in the day if I really wanted to.
And it's probably more profitable.
Easily.
Not gives you more revenue, but actually makes you more money, and you've got to prioritise that sometimes.
But I think the worry is, all right, I'm gonna counteract that. It's not that I don't want to do 6 colours, because I get a lot of pleasure and enjoyment, and there's money to be made. But I think it has to be a bit more profitable before realistically it can fit into my schedule and be worthwhile doing. So upping the minimums is one way of doing that. Because if I'm doing 50 odd shirts, then all of a sudden, I'm getting more revenue for doing it, and it's worth it. The time allotted, because the setup time's the same, but I'm getting paid for more shirts, but the printing time is virtually the same as well. To print 20 shirts or to print 50 shirts, there's barely any difference on press.
No.
And the setup time's exactly the same. So bringing the minimums up. The worry is you're losing customers who, don't want that many. But then you've just got to bite the bullet and say, look, all right, you're losing it short term, but you're only going to fill that void with customers who, want. You're just going to fill the space with the right type of printing. So sometimes you have to sort of do things that might cause a little bit of short-term pain, but in the long run, you've got to think of the bigger picture. And in the long run, do I really want to be holding the press up with small, lots of colours, awkward, tricky prints, when I could be churning out jobs? I could have stacks of jobs piled up one after other, and they could all be going out in the same day. That's a lot of customers happy, a lot of jobs ticked off my list, and more money in the bank for doing it.
There ain't an easy answer. I'm sat there at board level now, pointing out that changing the minimum from 24 to 50 costs an extra 4 minutes of press time.
Yeah.
4 minutes. 4 minutes of press time. An extra 4 minutes of press time per 12 machines. That's all. And you suddenly double your revenue, which, also increases the profitability of it, because just making that one small change. And then even despite pointing that out and doing the figures and times and everything by 12 and the 1,800 pieces per day that they get out, it's still hard for them to go to the salespeople and say, right, okay, you have to say no to the 12 and 24 job.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, well, if we say that, someone else will pick it up. Someone else will do it.
Yeah, they will. But
sometimes it's like, well, so let your competitor do the jobs that don't make any money.
Course,
let them do it. And then when they go out of business, pick it back up again at 50s. It's a hard one. Especially if you're desperate for work, it's hard.
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing worse than being tight on money. You need that work. You can't really afford to turn jobs down, and I've been there plenty of times.
Mm.
You don't want to turn anything down. The awkward polyester jobs coming in, you're like, God, better take it. But you've always got to think of the bigger picture. And sometimes you've got to take sentiment out of it, put it down in black and white on paper. Look, these numbers make more sense. Upping the minimums, more profitable, less time running around for the smaller, not so profitable jobs, more time to do the, the longer ones, etc. Black and white makes total sense. Take sentiment out of it. Take anxiety and, but what if we lose into competitors, etc. Take it out of it. Black and white, it makes sense. Go with that, and in the long term, that's about the bigger picture is what matters, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, you've got, you're not a service. You're a profit centre. You're not there just to provide a service.
We're all just money machines.
Yeah, you are. It's not a dirty word either. As long as you understand that, unless you're doing it as a charity, then this is how you earn your money. This is how you get your yacht on the lake.
At some point, you've got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, look, am I doing this to make a sustainable, profitable business for the rest of my life? Or am I doing it to just be an arty-farty craftsman? And, I get pleasure and stuff like that, but you've just got to put your business head on sometimes. And
so, are you pushing a squeegee or pulling a squeegee? That's the real difference.
Well, if you're pushing a squeegee, you'll be going nowhere, will you?
So you're just arty and crafty, aren't you? But if you're pulling a squeegee, you're serious about it.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're honest as well, if you don't put your business head on every now and again, there won't be a business there for you to be artsy and crafty.
No.
It's all very well and good. Waking up at morning, looking forward to coming to work, getting to play and have fun and be creative and print, which we all love to do, I'm sure. I'm sure printers all, I'd be surprised if people get into screen printing, or very few people get into screen printing, maybe at small to medium level, that are pure business, and just look at it as a profit machine. I think a lot of us come from creativity and then find us way and then try to turn it into a business.
Yeah.
There's a random guess.
A lot of us try and make money out of something we would do for free, basically.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So that's been, honestly, between last time I talked, Annie was off that week. That was a big hold up. And then this week she's been back full time, and I can very, very positively, I can tell the difference, and it justifies my decision now in a really big way.
I'm going to say that's a true test of whether you made the right choice of giving up some of your profit to someone else.
Yeah.
And we've been through on the journey with you. You were thinking about it. You weren't sure about it. We did part-time, and now she's back full-time. When she's not there, you realise the hole she's made. That's great.
Yeah. But it's, as much as a pain in the ass it was, what a brilliant way to justify and proof of concept. Yeah. That week was horrendous, but she's back, and already I'm facing a week next week, and by tomorrow I'll have got these 6 colour jobs that have been holding me up and troublesome out of the door, and potentially next week I'm in danger of catching up. I've never had that 11 years of my life, apart from maybe the odd Christmas. I could end up with a whiteboard with nothing on it.
Good.
Which would be quite.
Well, now you've got to get your sales head on now. You've got to get your sales head on now.
Yeah, well, you do. You have to be in a couple of weeks in advance. Am I happy about it? I'm happy about it if we're just super productive. If the sales are just dropping, then no, I'm not happy. But I'm hoping it's more of a production, be just catching up to a level where we can look at getting stuff out in a week, which would be great because I've not done that for a while.
Yeah. No, you've got to find out where your bottleneck is. That's what I'm doing this week is looking for bottlenecks, because we never actually solve a bottleneck. We only ever move it. So
one problem usually creates another. So
yeah, I've got a problem now. We're getting so efficient in this shop that it's having an effect on the screen department, because there's a higher demand for screens. We're at 300 to 400 screens a day now, and it's pushing the limit of what we can do.
That's a lot.
And then I know, yeah. So then we look at 24 pieces, 6 colours. It doesn't last long.
No.
We've got it down to a screen's coming out every 2 to 2.5 minutes. Screen's coming out of the screen department.
So that is a
That's
reclaimed screen, coated.
reclaimed, coated, imaged, developed every 2 to 2.5 minutes. I know, yeah.
Wow. That's a hell of a drying cabinet.
Yeah, well, it's not just one.
Multiple. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you increase production, say, like by 15%, all of a sudden, now we've gone past the point of how many screens I can physically. It takes us time to physically image a screen, and they're on laser. We're doing about 90 seconds to image a screen, 2 screens.
Yeah.
And
nice.
so it's hard work to catch up. But once we solve that problem, I know where the problem's going to arise then. It's going to be staging. At staging, where they're trying to match the job with the screens that are ready with the ink that's ready, they'll run out of manpower. They need more help because all of a sudden their work's gone up by 15% as well.
Getting too stressy, yeah.
So just they've changed. This company changed from M&R, which is using Trilock, to MHM using pre-reg pin system.
Yeah.
And just that change is having this effect throughout every department, because now they can eat more screens and they can eat more ink, and they're eating more shirts. These little monsters that we've created on the shop floor, they're demanding more food, and we've got to keep feeding them, feed the monster.
Yeah, well, on my silly little low level, that's what you're trying to solve. My fix was Annie. How many screens can
Same
Annie
thing.
get? Absolutely the exact same thing, just on a different scale. More people power, more automation, more systems in place. So I guess the staging problem, I would be running it just Monday, and somebody sat behind a desk, just literally dragging and dropping them into appropriate presses.
No, it's actually left to the staging team. They understand which machines can do sleeves and legs, hips as they call them.
Hips, right?
Hips. So anything on a leg.
Right.
So that sometimes they're short, sometimes they're long jogging bottoms. So they call them hip prints.
If it's
not
a leg,
not because they're cool and trendy.
I'm going to say if it's a hip, if it's a leg, it's a hip. If it's a sleeve, it's a hop.
Yeah. So once they have the hip boards on, then the staging team will save maybe 20 jobs and throw that at one pod per day.
Yeah.
They work in pod system. The pod system is 3 presses to a 1 dry.
Right, yeah. Cock and balls layout.
Well, yeah,
He's
but
got
with an
3
extra
balls
testicle.
Yeah.
An extra testicle, yeah.
Oh, God. Polar opposite of Hitler.
Yeah.
All right. So do you know how they run that software? Do they do software wise? Is it literally just pen and paper, sticky notes, software?
So they have a smart sheet, which is like basically everybody uses the very similar sort of thing. It's either a checkbox or a traffic light as to screens, ink, stock.
Yeah.
So I might have approval and everything. Before it gets to that point, I've got artwork create, artwork approve, those sort of things. Customer paid, all before it gets to that point. But essentially at the rock face, at the coal face, is 3, and the 3 are: have I got the shirts? Have I got the screens? Have I made the ink? And once I've got all 3 ticks, it's a live job. It becomes a live job. And until I get all 3 ticks, it's not a live job.
Yeah, no, that's a good system. I have mine set into what I'm printing this week, next week, and then I'll have the weeks laid out. And I try to drag it in order. And this is a Monday. But what I'm trying to do now is set up an automation so when a job's been paid and allocated to a date, there's also a duplicate Monday board which has more staging related, which is exactly what you've just explained. Is the screen coated? Is the visual approved? Are the films printed, etc. And then when all of them are ticked, then it goes into a big green table ready to go. So same sort of process, but
yeah, I've always been a big advocate of at any point where the job status changes, we should have access to a sheet where that job is, so that we can change the status. So if you've got a work terminal at staging, if you've got a work terminal at screens and a work terminal at inks, And then whoever's doing that job changes the status of that job to be, I've done the inks now. Right, we've done the screens. Well, I haven't got any stock yet, so I don't even worry about it until I get the stock.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Monday, we're not sponsored by Monday, by the way. It's just software I know. So
Monday.com.
Monday.com. Monday.com. So
what's the work day? What's work day? When you're watching F1 and work day comes on, they have that.
Yeah, there's that one, isn't there?
Assistant for HR and something.
Assistant for Lulu fans. So anyway, the good thing with Monday.
You had to push it to max, didn't you?
Ha! Race it to the max. Get yourself kicked off eBay. If you've got these stations, if you've got a computer, basically, your ink station,
A work terminal, yeah.
You can actually lock all the other drop downs, so that the ink station can only adjust for ink mixed drop down.
Yeah.
And then because we can't accidentally click and fuck something else up, so you can have it locked. And then each station has got its own little access point to keep everybody else up to date.
Monday.com is very
big
popular.
Telly,
small to
central hub that shows it for everybody to see. And everybody can say, "Oh, he's done his job. I can go grab that screen now."
I have a guy. God, I bet it's 5 years ago now since I last saw him. But he had a little software engineer sat in the corner, trapped, just threw him biscuits now and again. And he made a big telly in his office with Speedos.
Oh, cool!
Not tight little pants.
There's pictures of blokes in skinny underpants. I bet you sent him yours, didn't you? You dirty bastard.
I said, well, that's not what you said when I sent it to you. Speedometers, so that you could see that the ink department was running at this level, and the screen department was running at this level, and the production level was running at this level. And it changed. It refreshed every sort of like 30 seconds. I was really impressed with it. Yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah, it did look good.
A stickler for screen room, shouting at screen room. You're slowing down.
He's slowing down, and you can see it from his office. Why is the screen room slowing down? I loved it. I thought it was a great idea. Took a lot of work because he got a software engineer just trapped in his room. Won't let him out.
Very, very
Can I go home now, sir? No.
Okay. So that's your big issue at the minute. You're trying to really solve bottlenecks where you are, and one bottleneck solved, another occurs. So I guess
we never solve one. All you ever do is move it. So you can't solve a bottleneck. You can't. All you can ever do is move it.
Yeah.
So if you, like I said, if the bottleneck was the presses at the time it took to set up, which it was, that's been fixed, and all it's done now is move it backwards towards screens, and now that's been fixed with another LTS unit. It's got 2 LTS units. Boom! It moves it back to staging now, and right now staging's under the spotlight. But once staging it might be just pulling an extra manpower, an extra person.
Oh, literally just to say stage is just people power.
Yeah, it's just
if
people.
Your system's solid.
Well, you see, this is what it's highlighting, that the system isn't solid now. So where we think it's just people, I went and looked around, and I'm like, hang on, let's just go put boots on the floor a minute here. I got to the staging department, and there's at least minimum 100 jobs, which have been picked from the warehouse. They're sat in staging, waiting to be allocated screens, and then from screens and stock gets allocated onto a press. So I'm like, what are you two doing? Why is there 100 jobs there? We've got no screens. Oh. Go into the screen department looking for the backlog. There isn't one. Screen guys caught up. So my screen guys caught up, but I've got 100 jobs waiting to be allocated. Let's have a look at the system. Now we throw in the night shift. So the night shift, make a screen, tick a box, make a screen, tick a box, make a screen, tick a box. Now some of them have been a bit lazy. They've ticked all the boxes first. Right. Then gone to make the screens, then run out of time. So now I've got screens that say they've been made, but they haven't.
Yeah.
So despite all the best systems in the world, there's always a little sort of the soggy thing, ticking the box.
People just fuck everything up, don't they?
We'll just replace them all with robots. Get shirt lifters on, and we're all right. We'll be fine.
What's that new invention called?
Shirt lifter.
No, you've got to do one, haven't you? I can't remember the words for it, but
I can. I got rejected. That idea, so it was a no.
it's a shame. You want to get your 10% now, then?
No. That's a manual machine. That's a manual sampling machine using CTS, one single head, and we're getting to the point where we can now manually, no electrics, no air, print a an unlimited number of colours on one station.
Yeah. The important part is it's got pin reg, basically.
Yeah, but it has to have pin reg. Yeah, you can't do it with films. Well, you could, but it wouldn't really work.
It would have been an improvement.
Yeah.
But why would you need it? It's not really much use to me.
No, it's a sampling machine.
Yeah. Not much use to me, but for sampling, a shop that can run...
If you've got 3 pressers constantly running work and they rely on a sample machine, so usually the best machines are M&R Chameleons, and there's millions of them around, and they still hold their value, so that's how you know that they're good. We stopped playing with that camera.
Slowly going like this. Tilting.
I thought you were shifting. You were just shuffling like that.
Just if you notice.
So yeah, if we can get a good sampling machine, it saves a lot of time and skill in setting up. De-skilling the sampling process. Trying to find a good sort of like sampling guy who feeds the presses, really, because most, I say 60% of the fashion houses want to see a physical print first before they say yes to it. And you could use your auto press for it, but it ties up an auto press.
Yeah, I think that's
you could do it between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock on a night and give yourself 2 hours to do as many samples as you can. But again, you're still using up a press, tying up a press.
Yeah, you'd be better with that little thing sat in its own room than a guy dedicated to it, knocking
Still
them
with
out.
hand squeegees, pulling them out.
Not only that, before it gets to press, if there are any reg issues, he'll have sorted it. He'll have said, no, this screen's defect, go run me another. Before it gets to the printers, if the printers put it on press and then we get it set up and we go, oh, fuck, we've got to stop. That ruins the whole day. But if the sampler catches it, that solves another bottleneck.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's not fully thought out yet, but it's a good idea.
Like it. That'll be one for future.
So, what else have you been playing with?
Well, I went back to my old print grip. Can you see it on my press?
Oh yeah, we can see it there. Look. So how long you been running it now?
About 3 days.
Opinion? Snap opinion, really quick.
Snap opinion, much better. Again, remember last time I said there were just little things. Still not quite there. Not quite 100% happy yet. But I've had it on 3 days. Give me a week or two. And I'm sure I'll be absolutely buzzing with it. I've spoke to plenty of people. I've just spoke to Evergood Supply in America. I guess it's in America or Canada. Say America. Sorry, mate, if I've just offended you. I think it's in America.
Yeah.
And he's had it on set.
It's like calling an English guy a Scot.
Yeah, it is. Well, we won't be like that ass. The Scots would be fuming.
Yeah.
I've just done some Scottish t-shirts. Hang on.
Oh, show and tell.
The flower of Scotland.
Nice.
Lovely. I just want to be test prints.
2 whites and a blue.
2 whites and a blue.
Nice drape.
Look how
Yeah,
soft
don't hang
it is.
heavy. Don't hang heavy at all, does it?
So smooth.
Yeah.
Somebody come to this shop, touch that, and tell me it's not water based. You can't.
Well, it is water based.
Well, half it is.
80% of it is, yeah.
Yeah. So he's had print grip on 7 months now, and it's his original purchase, and he's only just replaced them, and he swears by it. He loves it. Give me a couple of little hacks. I think the issue I'm having, the major sticking point, is literally the sticking point. It goes on, it prints amazing, and it's a bit too hard to pull off to the point that there might be a bit of stretch, and you don't want an oval. You know, you don't want a circle all of a sudden to be an oval.
No, you don't want a real football to look like an American football, basically.
Yeah, that's a problem. that's the big thing I'm struggling with at the minute. And it's only on certain garments. An AS colour staple, which I bloody love them. They're a little bit lighter. They're a little bit more prone to stretch. Whereas the AS colour heavy, you rip that off. Just they don't give a shit. You're not stretching that bugger.
How did that go again?
Like that.
Awesome.
That's how I do it. Anyway, tip number 1, bit of talcum powder. So when you've freshly cleaned it, just a bit of talcum powder on, wipe it off.
Just to take that stick off, yeah.
Take the edge off, or just have a hoodie kicking about. Press it on, so you're getting a little bit of lint build up, and then crack on. So I'm going to try that.
Same as the dual tack paper, yeah. Very
exactly
similar.
same. Yeah. I mean, prior to getting the print, that was the catalyst, to be honest. The dual paper, which only went on press because I ran out of application tape. It was a bit of oh shit, I didn't realise it was that low. What am I going to do? I had that upstairs, put it on, and I found myself actually quite liking it. I had the same sheet on for about 2 weeks. I thought, actually, I quite like this stuff now. Let's try print grip again. Just an off at cuff decision. Off at cuff £400 decision. And but yeah, I'm impressed so far. I'm almost sold 100% that it might actually stick this time.
So I'm seeing a lot more shops with it on. I've not worked in one yet, so I can't give a true reflection, but certainly the big water-based places, I think it's Night Owl's probably one of the biggest ones I know. They use it. They have been using it for a long time, 18 months, 2 years in, and still not getting any problems. But you have to perfect a system around it.
Anything new has its little perks that you have to adjust to, and it's on its own.
So while we're on glue, because glue right now is a sticking point. How
many times do you think we can make that joke this episode?
No, I think we're done now.
Don't you think it'll stick?
No, I think we're stuck on it now. I think if we just adhere to the plan.
What's your favourite song? Fine. Stuck in the middle with you. Anyway, carry on, sorry.
So, I'm right in the middle of that now. What's the best method? Because we've got to throw fleece in there. We've got to throw sweatshirt material in there.
Yeah.
Hoodie material. Does it work with hoodie material?
Going off previous experience, yeah.
How many revolutions before you have to do something to it?
I wouldn't like to say, because it was a good couple of years. Was it a couple of years ago that I hadn't chucked any fleece on yet? I wouldn't like to say. There is a workaround, and actually, coincidentally, they've just brought out, I think they call it a tough sheet, and this tough sheet sits on top, and then you can put glue on top of that, take the sheet off, and then your print grip is totally fine. So if you do find yourself with a garment where I'm just got to use spray, that solves that. But I solved that problem 18 months ago by using parchment paper. I'd put a sheet of parchment paper on top, and then I'd put application tape on top of that, and then I could spray it, use it like a normal gluey palette, water-based glue, aerosol glue, whatever, Spider-Man jizz, and then just take the application tape off. And because you've got that parchment paper sandwich, it does, you don't get any glue or damage to you, and it doesn't rip off the print grip sheet.
Print grip.
So,
all right, okay.
Probably just done print grip a disjustice there, because I brought a whole new product out, and I've kind of just solved it.
So you're just by parchment
fraction
paper,
of the cost.
Yeah. So, the reason I bring it up, it's been a problem in this shop. They've had some sweatshirts returned by a customer because they're sticky on the inside.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah.
So, the solution to it being sticky inside, number one, can we solve that problem? Now, I've always solved that problem with, if it's a light garment, a little bit of talcum powder or silicone spray to just dull that stickiness down. I've also tried it comes off in the washing machine.
Yeah.
Which it should. A light tack should. But if there are bits of the pallet
the
stuck on the
clumps.
inside of the shirt,
If it looks
bits
like
of
somebody's
pallet,
had a good time,
yeah, you peel it off,
probably
it says
not.
MHM on the inside, and what's that? Taking half that machine with you. Then you've got obviously got an issue, and we've got, for educational purposes, this is just for Maxi over in Tel Aviv, because Maxi again has now said, "Oh, I quite like listening to you two guys."
It's getting
now,
somewhere, this Chippy tea.
Yeah, keep it up, Maxi. Yeah,
Keep this up, it might stick.
oh, please. So our options when it comes to holding a shirt onto a moving piece of metal using heat and pressure and hoping it doesn't move as it travels from colour to colour are aerosol glue. Two types of aerosol glue.
Yeah.
A spray mist.
And Spider-Man.
In fact, three types of aerosol glue. I'm going to go for three types of glue. Aerosol glue. We've got a spray mist that's not heat sensitive. We've got a spray mist that is heat sensitive. So in the early days, that was spray tack and flash tack.
Flash tack, yeah.
Flash tack, spray tack and flash tacks are both. You know, if you go around with vacuum cleaner, some people call it hoovering. You go around and hoover.
Yeah.
So hoover is a trade name.
Yeah, it's a brand.
So
I can't call it Uber.
Yeah, it's when the doing thing is replaced by the name. It's like when you search something, you Google it.
That's good marketing.
It is. It means you've done well. Well, spray tack is not spray adhesive. Spray tack is a name made by Aerosol. Flash tack was the name made by Aerosol. So those two brands were the only ones you could get. And basically, if it was white shirts, you use spray tack. If it was dark shirts, you use flash tack.
I see. And what was the reason for that? Just in case there was any pickup?
No, one of them was cheap. It had no heat-sensitive stuff in it.
Because you want flashing.
Because you don't need it because you're doing white shirts. And the other one was more expensive. It was heat-sensitive glue. So it was resistant to all that flash temperature and pallet temperature. And then you had web spray. So web spray, Spider-Man jizz. So that came around because we were using so much of this flash tack that it was spraying and bouncing all over the press. Yeah. And people didn't like it. It ruins the press. Our mate Richard Potter, RP Mech, posted a video on Instagram of the valve that sits and holds the registration. It was covered in that much glue that even 6 bar of pneumatical pressure couldn't move it.
Couldn't shift it.
It ruins pressures. Spray tack ruins pressures. So we've got those three all in an aerosol. Yep. Now they all work, and to be honest, the middle one, the flash tack, is probably the most effective way of holding anything down. When we get to web spray, it works, but do you know what? If you're really perfectionist, you can actually see the lumps on the inside of your print because you're leaving these silly string that comes out. I think there's a
knack to that one. Yeah. I think it's something that Supreme of Alex he's mastered, and I think a few others have cottoned onto it since, and I'm sure there's plenty of other shops, but just in recent memory, we're talking with Alex, he swears by it, and I think there's a knack to getting a smooth application, and he even uses it with shirts. So it's a genuine contender, something to try. You can buy it in can form, but that is harder to get a smooth application. Yeah. Trust me, I've tried it. It's still good. I liked it for hoodies, but I think I'd like to try the canister version if I were to use it on shirts
with a car spray.
It's a contender. Head. Yeah, basically like a little airbrush.
It is really web spray, but it's in a better applicator.
Yeah,
but we still only got those three types of sort of like liquid adhesive, liquid contact adhesive. And if we get those wrong, if we get a puddle, if we get wet on the pallet itself, that's when we start to get rip-offs. It's got to be a dry mist. Yeah. You've got to remember that we put a mister spray on, then we put a sweatshirt on. And then as we rip the sweatshirt off, it leaves behind a thin layer of lint. That lint is hiding the glue.
Yeah.
So there are two solutions. Either remove the lint every time or spray over the top of it.
Yeah.
So we end up with this, the pallets are now 3.5 inches taller than they should be, just on fluff. I go to a place where there's an old piece of pallet paper stuck on the wall. I've been there about 3 times, haven't I?
Looks like an 80s muff.
Why is it? Why is it? Why is there a 1980s version of Playboy on the wall? Well, yeah, we sort of had a competition to see how far we could build it up, how high we could build it up, and that was the winner. I'm like,
Oh, Christ.
okay.
I'm sure that was great footprint.
Not at all, no.
You didn't need no travel on that fucker, did you?
Backed it right off.
Backed it right off.
So they're the 3 traditionals, and then we look at the new kids on the block. So the new kids on the block are the PMI tape, or the double-sided tape. And double-sided tape is exactly what it says on the tin, available in 2 different tacks, high tack and low tack. Low tack to avoid what you were talking about earlier, when we turn a real football shape into an American football shape.
Yeah.
And then water-based glue. So water-based glue came around. It's been more popular in the last 10 years or so because it doesn't have any bad effects on the environment, on the press, or the inside of the shirt. But it's a little bit more labour intensive. So there are different methods of application. You either use a card and spray it out, or a roller, or you can get it into I've got a guy who had it in a Wagner spray. You've seen them electric sprayers, Wagner.
Yeah, like you paint your house with them, don't you?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Put it in one of those. I think they're a little bit too much bounce back for me, but it works. If you get the setting right, it works. It works a treat.
Nice, good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I'd have that mounted.
Just takes a lot of messing around.
Just triggers itself every so often.
On a sensor. Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that. 1991, 92. That's how we used to do it on a big oval. It was an arm that came out in between the pallets on an optical sensor. I had 2 car nozzle sprayers and a bucket underneath. Well, the bucket underneath was, I hated it because it's the Tecmar spray. So we used to buy 200 litres of water-based glue, and then you had to fill the little bucket up underneath, and then you connect an airline. You connect the airline. This airline pressurizes the bucket, and that's what triggers it every time. Well, it sounds great, doesn't it? But
seems a good idea.
The bucket leaks, the nozzles get clogged, and every now and again you have an explosion that looks like some sort of German porn film that you're not allowed to watch.
That's all you need.
And it was always me that, hey, Tony, can you fix the glue? Why? Well, we don't want to go down there and get covered in shit. Oh, thanks, but it's down to me. Awesome. So
take my spray guns available now. You can still buy them.
Yeah, they're still good, and you can do them by manual. I've got a couple of printers in England that still use them. It's a water-based glue. It does bounce a little because it's pneumatic, so you've got to get it right. Yeah, but there's no nasty aerosol spray. It works really, really well, and the automation of it works fantastic for us. I'm going back to Jam Factory days in 1992. But it was an automated spray. So, you'd flick a switch and you've got one guy loading, one guy taking off, and it's automatically spraying as it moves past. It was a dream because it moves in a straight line, not in a circle, like you've got a circle.
I think we've got the categories, we've got the various methods. I think your aerosol adhesives, the sprays, the cans, basically, flash, Spider-Man jizz, and non-flash. It's very difficult to overtack. They're really good. They're really easy to just... And you won't get an overtack. You won't get a rugby ball at the end of it. Either side of that, your double-sided tape, your print grip, your water base can all fall foul of being too tacky. I've had water base, and if you don't get the ratio of dilution correct, you just get that same problem. It just rips off. It basically just super glues it to pallet, and then you ruin a shirt.
So one solution I've seen to that problem is 3 different squirty bottles. One at 100%. Yeah, one at 100%, one at 70-30, and one at 50-50 with water.
Like that, good idea.
The more water you put in it, the more often you have to put it on. So you might make it weaker, but then it doesn't last as long. No. So you still there's ups and downs with it.
There's a balance.
Just explain print grip to us, because it's as if I'd never heard of it. What's print grip?
Print grip falls in the same family as double-sided PMI tape, honestly. It's a gel pad. It's, I believe, 1.5 millimetre thick, so it's not super thick, but there's a little bit of thickness to it. A gel pad, the easiest way I can describe it, so you can feel it in your head. You know, you can buy those little jelly things to put on your dashboard of your car, and you sit your phone on it, and as you're driving, it'll hold it in place, it won't fall off.
Yeah.
You seen them?
But it's not sticky.
Well, it sticks, it holds it.
But there's no
but
residue,
in itself, it's
no
not
glue.
actually glue. Yeah.
Well,
So it's
what
a
about
gel
the
pad.
clothes rollers? You know the clothes rollers that used to get dog hair off?
Very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just... Well, that's what it is. Just that in shoes. Anyway, but that's what it is, yeah. So it's tacky. It's gluey. It's sticky. You treat it just as you would water-based or double-sided tape.
So if we just stop there, I'm not sure if people are aware that with water-based glue and with PMI tape, the way to refresh it is to spray it with water and scrub it. You don't have to reapply. Whereas with all the spray adhesives, because they're solvent-based, you can't refresh them with water. So you have to put on top.
Yeah,
so
I mean...
I don't suppose you've got any water and a rag behind you. I'd be able to just clean a little bit off.
Yeah, I can do. Water-based shops, quite often, and it's always a case of anything, like, you always fall back to aerosol because you just grab it and go, and then you're printing.
It is the easiest and the best way to do it.
If you're doing it properly, you're gonna wet it down. You're gonna scrub water-based glue to refresh it. But a lot of shops will just top it back up and treat it the same as aerosol. But if you're running your water-based, literally, can you see?
Yeah, perfect.
So water-based, double-sided.
Just plain old water.
Double-sided or palette, plain old water. Grab a scrubber.
And the lint just falls off, basically.
Fresh clean palette. Bear in mind, this would be, the flash, this would be a warm palette. It'd be dry by now. Okay. You can just get a rag. Now, there's a bit of lint that comes off, but that lint in balls of gluey lint. It's just
cotton.
lint.
It's just cotton, yeah.
Over straight up. You're not
sticky cotton.
Compacting it into your floor, making it dead sticky. It makes cleaning up a breeze. This is the big thing for me. I can clean my press down, and it'll stay clean because there's nothing in there anymore. And any sort of lint or any sort of lint goes on the floor and gets hoovered up at the end of the day. So, but that now is very tacky. I can put
sticky as chuff.
Sticky as chuff. It's honestly a little bit too sticky. What I would probably do now is every good supplier is just advised. Go grab a scrap hoodie, chuck it on, pull it off, and then put my shirts on. Just that little bit of lint, just take the edge off, so that by the time the shirts come around printed, because don't forget when you're printing a shirt,
there's a lot of pressure coming down.
Compacting it over and over and over, and that's why. Like so you
this
can
is
put
my
a shirt on now and it'll come off fine, but by the time it's printed, it's like shit, like super glue.
So my issue with all of these systems, other than aerosols, is time.
Yeah.
Now, for you, single operator, working on your own, even if you've got Annie with you, if it takes you an extra 10 seconds each revolution to clean that, spray and clean that pallet, it's not going to impact your day.
No.
But I work with people like, they've recently come onto Instagram, Fresh Air Printers, and they're running a print every 3.4, 3.6 seconds.
Yeah.
And they have to. That's their business model. They can't slow it down. If you sell them an ink and say, look, this ink's a lot cheaper, but you have to flash it for 5 seconds, if they add an extra 2 seconds to their print, their business model fails.
Yeah.
So with the print grip or the PMI or the water base that you refresh, not reapply, there's a time element, and I've got to pay for that time element. Where I am now, I'd love to introduce print grip, but as soon as they do a fleece job, I don't know how to handle the sweatshirt aspect of it. Tell them that
Well,
they have to clean.
there are various strengths. In the UK, I believe we can only get access to yellow, which is almost the middle ground. As an overall grip, it's okay, it's pretty good. But you can get a black,
Where
which
do
is
you get it
much.
from? You get it from
Screen
Dave?
World. Got it from
Dave,
Dave.
Screen Print World.
I can't tell you where I got it from, but if you ask Roper, he'll tell you.
I can tell you it was from Dave at Screen Print World.
But I think he's only got the yellow sheets in, as far as I know.
Yeah.
In the States, you can get the black sheets, and I've tried all of them. You can get white, which is quite low tack. You can get yellow, which is somewhere in the middle. I think they call it a high tack. I mean, I think the black is like super high tack, and your black would be spot on for fleece. But I must admit, I'm pre-cleaning my screens per job. I had 100 shirts on yesterday, didn't touch the pallets once, and it was fine. Once I got the first rotation off, maybe the first two, that's super tacky had gone, and then right through to the very last shirt, I didn't have to clean it. It was perfectly tacky, coming off fine all the way through. So almost every 100 shirts I might clean it for your typical cotton t-shirt job, which I think is pretty good going. If I was running that shirt with aerosol, I'd have used a lot more aerosol. I'd have topped the aerosol up every other rotation, maybe. So
with double-sided tape, with the PMI stuff, do you put that onto the pallet or put that onto pallet paper?
Pallet paper.
So you put pallet paper down
done
first?
Yeah, that's just me being a clean freak. For double-sided tape and for print grip, I've put my application tape on.
Yeah, to protect your pallet first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I wrapped it around the edges. And then I've put my print grip on top. And then I've taped with my blue car
3M tape.
3M tape. Taped the top, taped the edges of the bottom. And you don't need to do that, really. You only need one top and bottom. But I like to do a lap. Purely because when you're loading, you're not catching the shirt on edge or corners. It goes on super smooth and quick. Yeah. So it saves time. So just taking that extra couple of minutes to tape it up nice and neat and properly. Yeah. Don't forget, this could be here 6 months now. This could last 6 months. Every good supplier's just done 7 months with it. So this is here for the long run. In my head, taking 10 minutes to tape it up neatly and properly. And I did do it properly. I got a tape measure and measured a centimetre in every time. Put a dot and lined it up.
No way.
Yeah. It was an hour job. Well, it's worth it for me. It's going to be there for 6 months at least. So, but yeah,
we'll have to check it. We'll have to check in and see how you're doing on. Whether we'll do an episode next week and you'll be back to spray tack. I don't know.
I'll be using spider wedges next week.
Because this is what I'm seeing. I've got a customer in New York, and they use water-based glue with a roller, and they've got it down to a fine art, like a dance. That when the machine's running at relatively normal speed, the guy pulls the shirt off and sprays the pallet. Then the guy, before he puts the shirt on, scrubs it and dries it, then puts the shirt on. And the whole dance takes about 5 seconds. They've got it down to a fine art. Yeah. But if I show that video to someone who's currently going, shh, they'll go, I'm not spending all that time.
Yeah.
Literally picking up the can and going, shh, takes me less than half a second. Why would I invest another 5 seconds in every job, every turn of every job?
I think we have to sort of. Sometimes we're looking for the best. We have to categorise something. What is the best solution? The truth is, we've got tools, lots of different tools in front of us, and each tool is going to benefit different shops and different types. And for me, this might just be the perfect solution because I hate mess. I don't mind spending a little bit extra time just to wet it and scrub it off. It outweighs the benefit. The benefits of cleanliness outweigh that little bit of extra time. When I'm only a small shop, I'm only running nothing compared to.
Are you going to invest in a handheld sort of car polisher?
Got my drill bit, yeah.
Drill bit. All right. So that's like a scrubbing brush that fits in a little portable drill.
Little drill. I'm going to get a grinder. So it'll fit into a grinder. And then just...
They're heavy, though.
No, not with a little 12-volt battery.
All right. Okay.
Handy tools to have then.
Good.
So
Awesome.
I think it could be the one this time. Maybe it'll stick.
Arr.
I'll stop now. I'll stop.
Yeah. You'll have to adhere to the plan, definitely.
So that's it. Glue's covered. We've ticked all boxes.
Yeah.
Aerosols, Spidages, print grip, double-sided tape, and water-based.
Water-based roll-on, yeah.
We did run a poll, and the majority of winner was aerosol, which everybody starts with, everybody uses.
It's the easiest solution. It actually works really well. It's a really good solution to the problem. The problem is, how do I hold this shirt when it's moving at such a high speed and I'm using head temperature and I'm using pressure? How do I hold it on? And the winner for that ticks out all those boxes and gets 100 out of 100 is spray. But on the con side is this atmosphere that we're creating of sticky solvent. God knows what the inside of my lungs must look like. The nicotine didn't stand a chance because it just got overwhelmed by the spray adhesive. That's why I
worked. Oh, that's why you're still here, is it?
Yeah. So it's bad for the environment, bad for the press, as we saw from Richard's post, and it makes a mess. At this place here, they've gone crazy on spray glue for the last 6 months, and I'm sticking to the floor everywhere.
It's horrible, isn't it? I can't.
It's on the bottom of my shoes. It's horrible.
Yeah, I can't face it. It's too much for me. It's I can get away with it more. I'm the type of shopper that's it's really isn't that big of a deal. It's preferential to me to just spend 10 minutes at the end of the day sweeping up.
Yeah.
I prefer that than a knackered press. Ailey asked me the question the other day. What was my biggest order I've ever had? And I had to think back, and it was for a hospice. And this hospice every year ran charity events to raise money. They would order thousands and thousands of luminous yellow or luminous pink t-shirts every year off me. And I think the max I did were, I think it were 12,000 t-shirts it was. Over the space of a month. It were a lot of shirts to hand print, but it was just black on bright pink or yellow. So it was the easiest thing on planet to print. But for like a month solid, printed the same colour shirt over and over and over. And I was snotting, picking out bogies, bright pink. And I swear to God, for weeks and weeks after I'd finished the job, I kept seeing pink come out of my nose or just spit. You know, when you get coffee, like, oh, spit. Oh, bright pink. So what is in the bottom of my lungs? I don't know, but...
You can make a Gildan soft style out of what's in your bottom of your lungs. Awesome.
God, it's not good. You should. It's a thing. Some of it we should think about or talk about. It's a question. Is the long-term effects of screen printing?
Yeah, I'm only fucking 25 years old.
God, it's a rough business, isn't it?
Oh dear. Yeah, we're exposed to all sorts of crap. I was talking about it the other day. We used to wash our hands in cellulose thinners and trichloroethylene, which is banned in every country in the world. And we used to wash our hands with it. Oh, yeah, that gets it off. My hands are all grey and flaky. Why have they gone grey? Oh, it's all right. Just put some soap on. You'll be fine. And cellulose thinners. When I smell cellulose thinners now, it takes me back to that first day of being 17, trying to wash a squeegee with this stuff that. Well, to be honest, it was like sniffing a marker pen at school. It was like, oh, I need to go out for a bit of fresh air.
Yeah,
we have come a long way.
We have, but still harsh, very harsh. I have this chain on all the time, and every week it ends up black. This is a silver chain, and it's now black borderline bronze, and I have to clean it every week. And it's something in this shop that is reacting to it. It's obviously an aerosol cleaner or something. And
It might be Chippy Tea Sweat. It might be flipping sweat.
Oh, it flipping is.
It might be flipping sweat.
No, it's not. Flipping sweat.
No, it's not. You're right. Fucking rare.
What a cunt. Oh no, that was you can't use that word. That was
no,
crossed.
you can't get that one.
Oh god, got sponsors to keep happy now. I do need to do some more flipping sweet t-shirts. Speaking of flipping sweat, I haven't had a merchandise t-shirt for ages. It's been well over a year. Shall we do a Chippy Tea / palm print / flipping sweet combination?
Collaboration, absolutely.
Collaboration.
100%.
I'll run some off. I'll run
Right,
some
we're going to have to wind this up, buddy.
All right, then. Fuck you, then.
I've only just seen time.
Time is it?
7:30.
You start work at 8?
Yeah.
Fucking slave drivers. Christ. I don't even get up at 8 normally.
They finish quite early, so it's not too bad.
Do we do a 4 working days? That's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 10 hours.
Week.
4 10 hours.
I like that concept. So we'll save that
4
for
10 hours. It's quite popular as a 4-10. 4 10-hour days.
Like it.
6.
I do 10 hour days anyway, so it doesn't really work for me. But...
6 till 4, I think they do something like that. Yeah, 6-4.
Let's save that for a topic next week, because it would be good to talk about that, see how effective it is. If anybody does a 4-day week, comment below on YouTube and tell us about your experience, and then we'll discuss it next week.
Yeah. Right, okay. So we're going to wind that up right now.
Don't show any enthusiasm about it, will you?
Shut up, you knob. I've got to try and fit me breakfast and a shower and a 20-minute drive into the next 30 minutes.
Go get your Weetabix, you're getting grumpy.
Right, so you have been watching. If you like what you hear, see, and participate in, then don't forget to drop us a cheeky follow, a like, or even subscribe to what we laughably call our podcast.
Yeah. Give us some questions and topics, something to talk about.
Yeah, get involved. Not a problem. We love it when we hear from you. Even if it's Max being grumpy, we still love it. Give us some inspiration, and we'll even feature you on it if need be. On the usual channels, which is YouTube, Spotify. That's it. Yeah. And Instagram. So you can follow me and Danny on Instagram. I'm at Palm Print. Danny's at Flipping Sweet, and we've got Chippy Tea as well. And we've got Chippy Tea as well, official.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll catch up with you next time. But for now, it's time to say, I'll
see. Oh, I was in tandem.
Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry Kool-Aid. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want to